Okay. Hi. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of a live counter review using technical analysis. So for today, the flow will be the same as per the usual sessions. So first I'll talk about the US economic calendar. Then I'll go through some of the sectors such as I'll go through some of the indices and commodities first. Then after that, I'll talk about some of the sectors like the Magnificent Seven, US banks, semicons, and EVs. And last but not least, I'll also go through some of the questions you all have. So if you all have any contents that you all want me to review, can just feel free to drop them in the Q&A. Okay, so without further ado, I'll begin. So first up tonight, nothing much. Later on, about 10 p.m., there's some factory orders data and some bill auctions at 11:30. Going to tomorrow, I think there's some trade balance data at 8:30 p.m. S&P Global Services PMI tomorrow 9:45 p.m. Then there's ISM non-manufacturing PMI at 10 p.m. Okay, then afterwards, going to Wednesday, there's Atlanta Fed GDP now at 1 a.m. Then there's the usual core inventories at 10:30 p.m. Okay, then after that, nothing much. Thursday, there's some Fed speaks going on. FOMC member daily speaking 12:45 a.m. Fed Collins and Governor Cook speaking at 2 a.m. Afterwards, we have our usual jobless claims data at 8:30 p.m. Then there's the not Bosch speaking at 10 p.m. NY Fed 1 year consumer inflation expectations 11 p.m. Then Friday there's a 30-year bond option 1 a.m. Atlanta Fed GDP now 1 a.m. also. Yeah, that's probably about quite light in terms of the economic data front this week. Yeah, so that's it. Then our next one I'll talk about some of the indices and commodities. So first up, Bitcoin. I think seeing some weakness towards the end of last week as with the indices. So Bitcoin was consolidating things sideways with original support around 116,000. Then since then there was a break below that and pull back towards to retest the previous all-time high around 112,000. So we kept over here. This was the previous all-time high, 112,000 formed in May. Then I think it did a retest over here. So likely, I think this support will go over here for now. And like if it does retest again, the next level downwards around 110,600. This was also should be quite a strong support level as well because it was a resistance that price consolidated under for quite a bit of time. I think this area should be able to hold as support in the near term. In terms of resistance, will definitely be the recent breakdown level, right? 116,000 onwards to about 117,300 about there, I guess. So I think in the near term wise, we probably see a bounce, but probably some rejection of this recent broken support. Then maybe some consolidation sideways in a bit of a lower range with the recent breakdown. Yeah, so that's my take on Bitcoin. Next one, I'll talk about Dow Jones. Yeah, so Dow Jones, I think still didn't manage to break above this 45,000 level. So originally still was range trading. Then after that, the indices, there was a bit of a pullback on Thursday and Friday. Okay, then I think a bit looking in terms of the weekly wise, there was also a closing below the 5 MA level, which hasn't happened since quite a while. Yeah, so I think for now it actually retested this 10 MA level around 43,500. I think this area should be able to hold as some support for some bounce to take place over here since there is quite a big dip from the highs to just below the 5 MA and actually reach a 10 MA straight. So we could see some slight bounce over here, also given that this is a bit of a level over here on the weekly 43,500. Then next one, the next strong support level I think will be closer to 42,800, which was this horizontal resistance previously. Yeah, then so current resistance likely to be the breakdown of this recent range. That's around about 44,000 to about 44,300. So we might see some bounce then forming a bit of a lower high in the short term with the short term moving averages acting as a bit of potential resistance as well. Then next one, moving on to the Nasdaq. So for Nasdaq also, I think yeah, we've seen a bit of a pullback recently, but not on very high volume as well, normal. Then also we've seen a breakdown below the 5, 10, 20 MAs, which hasn't happened since quite a while. I think all the way back in April. So some pullback in terms of the short term momentum, but I think still actually looking good. We just did a retest. Currently is on Friday we tested this previous consolidation resistance. That's around 20,600. So we could see some bounce over here. The next strong support level it does reach will be closer to 20,100. So this was the previous consolidation range at the start of this year. So the previous resistance over here quite strong previously. So likely to turn support if it does reach there. That's the next level to take note. Then I think for now, some resistance likely to come from around a retest of maybe 20,800 all the way to 21,000, this area over here. Especially 21,000 is a psychological level, as well as it was a bit of a consolidation that price. There was some consolidation over here around the highs before there was a gap down on Friday. So this would be quite a bit of a resistance at 21,000. So for next day, we might see some bounce, then make a bit of a lower high at this closer to 21,000. With the short-term movement, we just like to post some near-term resistance as well. So for S&P, also something quite similar price action to the Nasdaq. But for this one, a bit weaker, we see this, there was a break below this 6,285. There was an opening gap down over here at the previous resistance. Then price sold down lower. So slightly a bit weaker, but there's another level over here closer to 6,200. This will be a bit of a support in the near term as well. So we could see some bounce similarly. The next level below 6,200 will be somewhere closer to 6,120, about there, which was the range consolidation highs at the start of this year. So that's the next support level. And then as for now, probably we see a bit of a bounce, but expect resistance above 6,300 to 6,340, especially if there's a retest of the a gap or this short-term moving ranges. Yeah. Then next one, I'll talk about gold. So gold actually, I think seeing a bit of a slight weakness, but doing a bit of a retest. I think there might be some resistance over here. So I think originally it was holding quite okay. I was expecting a wedge over here. Then there was a bit of a sell-off along the way when price this 3360 level couldn't hold as support. So afterwards, you have a pullback. Then currently we have a bit of a bounce. So after quite a bit of pullback, quite normal to have a bit of bounce. But over here, I would expect some resistance around 3,380 to about 3,420 this area in the short term. If it does test this area, because this was the breakdown level. This was the breakdown, as well as this could have a trend line resistance as well over here. Yeah, then near term wise support could come from around this 3,315 level over here. If it does retest somewhere along the horizontal level that it broke out of this candle. Okay, next one, oil. I think oil for now nothing much. It's generally quite sideways. So the resistance around 69 to 70, which it tested and pulling back from. Support would be around 64 to like 66 this area. So for now, it's just quite sideways over here. Yeah, until we see a break of either direction. Okay, then next up for the VIX, I think yeah, with the volatility spike on Friday, looks like the breakout of this downwards resistance line over here, but now see whether it can hold. If it holds support, let's say around above this 17.5 area, right? Where previously this was also a horizontal level. If it does find support over here, then I think there might be some further volatility spike ahead. But for now, I think we just need to see whether it's just a one time or whether it can hold as a bit of a if it does hold as a support over here. Near term wise, I think there's it hit a bit of resistance on Friday. So this closer to 21.7, this was a bit of horizontal level. The next resistance for VIX, I think will be somewhere closer to 25.6 area to about 28.3. Yeah, based on the previous levels. Yeah, so near term wise, we could see some pullback for the VIX, then retest. If it does hold as support, then we might see it go back up again. Yeah, last one, copper. Yeah, very exaggerated price action also because of the there was some news on the regarding the copper tariffs. So there was a huge bearish candlestick breakdown of this $5 level. Currently, is where it's sitting at right now. Support levels will probably around 4.32, around 4.16 next. And the short term wise, I think we might see a bit of a sideways action take place first. Yeah, then resistance wise 4.7 upwards to 4.9 about there. So that's it for some of the indecent compounds. I'll talk about the Max 7 sector next. Yeah, so first one I'll talk about is the ETF that's tracking the Magnificent 7 as a whole. This round hill Mag 7 ETF, the symbol is MAGS. So looking at the price action, yeah, a bit of a pullback recently where price there was a gap up on Thursday after I think it was Microsoft and Meta earnings, I think, above this 58.20 previous level. But we see the sellers taking control recently with an increase in volume as well. So near term wise, we're likely to see some slight weakness lah. Especially when we are actually when it's the resistance area around 50, when it actually did go above this 58.2 level. But near term wise, I think we should be able to still see some support if it does actually reach, let's say, this channel support somewhere close to 56. 56 is also a horizontal level where price consolidated a bit before going upwards. So I think if it does test over here, we might get a good bounce. Yeah, currently there's a bit of a gap up pre-market. So just about here. Yeah, then I will expect some resistance above this 58 level, which is this channel resistance, as well as this there was a bit of this gap over here, this gap below 50. Yeah. So in the near term wise, we might see some sideways consolidation, but I would think support will still hold if it does retest this channel for the first time, channel support again for the first time since this pullback. And next one, I'll move on to some of the individual counters. So first up is Meta. Yeah, so Meta after earnings, yeah, there was a strong gap up, then a bit of a pullback over the past 2 days. So first thing, I think still strong uptrend. I think very strong. Likely to see first this previous level at 740. This was the previous resistance. I think this could be the first support level if the hold. If it doesn't do a bit of a retest. Yeah, so I think it's just a huge gap up and could retest the previous resistance level for a bit of a bounce. Then it could just bounce off over there. Yeah, then in terms of short-term resistance for now, maybe 765 onwards. Yeah, so I think near-term wise, there could be some likely to be a bit of a sideways consolidation first after a strong gap up. Then a retest of the previous resistance will be able to hold as a bit of support. Yeah, then after maybe bounce and go a bit sideways after. The next one I'll talk about is Apple. Yeah, so Apple after the earnings, not very good kind of price action. So we still see resistance holding at this 213, 204, 216 this area. Then after the earnings, there was a bit of a sell down where it broke below some of the levels over. Yeah, around like this previous this 206, 207 support level. So I think we might see in terms of the weekly wise, also not very good. It's like below the 5, 10, 20 MAs with one bearish candlestick on the weekly. So I think in the short term wise, we might still see some retest of some lower support levels, maybe closer to 199, 200 psychological level over here as a lower support. Then over here might just do a bit of sideways. We expect probably resistance at 200, 205 to 207 in the near term. Yeah, generally a bit weak kind of price action with the increasing volume setting as well. Next one, Amazon. Yeah, after previously was trending well, then after the earnings, there was a gap down. Yeah, so currently is at this area. At 218. 218 was yeah, on the weekly is the around 10 MA level on the weekly. So this is a key level. Price might do find some support support over here for a bit of a sideways, given that this was also a previous horizontal range horizontal resistance. Yeah, then I think short-term resistance wise might be 223, 224, this level over here onwards. So maybe just some sideways over here first. Then below that, next support level, if it goes below somewhere like 206 to 200, 209, this area next. Yeah, so maybe after big gap down, we maybe see some sideways price action first. Yeah. Then if it does test some of these key levels, then we might see some reaction from either end. Okay, the next one is Netflix. So Netflix, I think after the earnings, we've seen a bit of the momentum change. Previously was a strong uptrend, and uh until now it's still quite weak up, even it's just trending up along, finding resistance from the 5 and 10 day area. So until that reverse, I think we might still see some weakness. For now, it actually pull back towards, actually hit this 1180 this support level over here. So currently the bit sideways, but still finding resistance lah. So I think we really need to see a break above this 10 MA, then we might see some slight bounce coming. If not, we might just still see this momentum continue to go down a bit. But somewhere closer to the 20 MA area, we might see some support. So I think that will be somewhere closer to, maybe if it does test like somewhere closer to 1110, that would be probably a good support level. Then it will represent quite a bit of a drawdown from the peak as well. Yeah, for now, I think just maybe sideways still, unless it can try to break above this 1190, then we might see some bounce towards like 1001, 1220. Yeah, so for now, still a bit of weakness going on. Next one I'll talk about is Alphabet. Yeah, so Alphabet, after the earnings, there was a gap up, but also coincidentally, it also gap at the bit of this channel resistance, like 197 about there. Then since then, the price action we've seen is a bit of a sideways. Then there was a bit of a bounce from the 5 MA initially. Afterwards, it looks like a bit of double top. And then we see the sellers take control, where there was a retest of the 10 MA on Thursday, and then a gap down as with the overall market on Friday. So I think we might see a bit of a bit of weakness since it's pulling back from the channel resistance. Short term wise, it might test. I think on the weekly, it might really connect with the 5 MA. So my guess maybe like that could be around 186, some sort, maybe about there. Yeah, then we might see some continued pull back towards this 184 to 186 area. This is the next. This was a bit of a slight some consolidation area that price book off of, so we might do a bit of test for some support. Then resistance maybe like 192, 193 in the short term from this recent. This was a bit of a range that there was a breakdown of. Yeah, so maybe some sideways consolidation as well. And last but not least, Microsoft, after the earnings, there was a big gap up, but also like coincidentally, it's finding some resistance at this channel resistance lah. So a bit of a pullback ongoing. So I think it's still okay. The uptrend is still intact as we're still trading within this formation. If it does retest, if it does close out the gap somewhere over here, like close to 520, then I think this will be a good place for support to come in if it does happen over here. Coincidentally, this is also will be like a reconnect with the short-term movement, which is like the 5 and 10. So I think over here at this area, likely to find support if it does test over here. Then in the short-term wise, I think some resistance will be above this 535 level in the short term. Yeah, then we might see some consolidation. So in general, for the max, on the Magnificent 7, yeah, in terms of index-wise looking, it's like in the middle of a bit of resistance and support. So we might see some sideways consolidation unless we hit some of the key levels, then we might see a bit of a bounce from either end. That's what I think. Okay, next one I'll move on to some of the financials. So first up, I'll talk about the SPDR Financial Sector Fund ETF. So looking at the ETF, holding up a bit better than still holding up a bit better, like is in the bit of a still continuing on a bit of range. The key level is still around 51, 5150 around there lah. Yeah, then you see is a possible like a double top in the short term lah, where there's resistance at this 53.2 level. On the weekly, it actually retested the 10 MAs over here. This 51.6 level is quite important. We should whether you can see a bounce take place over here to hold this formation over here. Yeah. Then short term resistance I would expect to be around like 52.30 when there's a gap over here. Yeah, so I think there might be some bounce over here, but there could be a lower high over here. Then maybe some consolidation. If there's a breakdown below 51, then we might see retests to close out this gap over here around 50.7. Yeah, so maybe a bit sideways as well. Now move on to the four banks. So first up, JP Morgan. JP Morgan moving sideways is still okay. It's like you see the price going upwards, then currently now it's just range consolidation. So it's generally between 283 to 297 about there. So we're just consolidating sideways. Nothing much, I guess, for now. Yeah. Unless there's a break of either end. If it breaks 284, the next support level I think will be around somewhere closer to 277 over here. And that will be the next level. Bank of America, we see for now it's it looks like a bit of a double top around 49 currently. Then also price gapping down below 47.20. So I think for now maybe just consolidating sideways as well. Support, I think some support will come in around closer to 44, 80, $45 over here. Yeah, since this was the consolidation level and then there was a dip over here. So this will likely still hold as a bit of support for maybe some range trading. Then resistance above 47.20 right about there. Okay, then next one I'll talk about is Wells Fargo. Yeah, so for Wells Fargo, also quite similar lah. You see price is only returns like 84, then coming back down to this support area, which was previous recent. So previously like this 77 to 78.50, this was a resistance over here. Then now that price likely to do a bit of retest for bounce over here again. Then I think that's in terms of the short term wise, this 80 point around somewhere closer to 80.50, this level might be some resistance in the short term. And last but not least, Citigroup a bit of an exception. The previous three banks we see some kind of similar price action, but Citigroup I think still is trending a bit stronger than the rest. Yeah. Okay, then so retesting this actually retested this level around 88.20 on Friday. So doing a bit of a bounce, expect some resistance above, I think like 93.50 about that, which was this tight consolidation area. So maybe just consolidating between 88 to 93.50 in the short term. Yes. So that's it for banks, mostly a bit sideways. Yeah. Then I'll move on to the semicon sector. So this one is the Philadelphia Semicon Index. So previously it was quite strong momentum. You see over here, price was just trending upwards. Then after that, it turned to be of a sideways between 5,560 to 5,800 about there. So on the weekly, I think we see some weakness where it was the first weekly closing below the 5 MA. But I think it's still okay unless as it's still holding the 10 MA over here. So it might just be a bit of a pullback recently. As long as this really 10 MA still holds 5390 about there, I think should be still a bit range bound in the short term. Yeah, let's that gives way, then we could see some further downside. But for now, probably we'll see some resistance above like 5,600 to about 5,700 area for the time being with this sideways consolidation. Yeah. Then below that, I think the next support level below that would be around 5,300. If it does go to below. So that's it for the stocks for now. It's just moving a bit sideways overall for now. Okay, then I'll move on to the some of the semicon players. So first one, Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia I think is currently doing some a bit of a reversion back. So it was previously quite strong, trading above our base uptrend channel over here. In terms of the price action, also break out above 174 lah. Then after that, currently we see a retest. So over here now, I think first retest we should see some support come back after pulling back from 183. It's like this area about 169 to 174. This area is a bit of support. So I will expect some bounce over here. Then some resistance in the short term maybe will be I guess will be like 178 to 180 area might be a bit of resistance. Yeah, then we might see some sideways consolidation within this uptrend channel itself. So the lower end might be somewhere like somewhere closer to 167, where previously there was this swing high and this dip over here. Yeah, so I will expect some sideways consolidation in the short term. Then next up is AMD, which is actually very strong. Actually, it actually got hit above this my level 174. So in the short term wise, I think on Friday it just retested the 10 MA lah. So it's actually still a very strong trend where previously you see over here, there was a retest then continue to move out. So over here it's still holding this 167. I think it's also horizontal level I marked out previously. 167. Yeah, there was a bit of this level. Yeah, so currently gapping up, we might see some resistance like 170, 177 about there. Because price was consolidating a bit sideways for 3 days. Over here, 177 was a bit of a level. So there might be some short-term resistance for this gap down. Yeah, then maybe price will move a bit sideways for the short term, like 168 to maybe 177 over here, maybe a bit sideways first. But I think it's still a very strong trend. As long as the 10 MA continues to hold, then I will still give the benefit of doubt in this trend. The next one I'll talk about is TSM. Okay, TSM, I think previously was a strong channel over here, upwards channel. I think starting to move into a bit sideways for now. Looks like. Yeah, so I think for now, maybe probably sideways. This support is at 232. This dip over here. Friday we tested it, so probably see some bounce in the short term. Resistance might come from the retest of some of the short term movement, which is that's around maybe 240 onwards, maybe 243. We just retest the channel. So I think that will be the short term resistance. Then maybe just some sideways for the near term. 232 still support. Below that, the next support would be somewhere around 227 about, I guess. 227 and 221. That's the next level. So I think maybe some sideways. It might turn to be a sideways consolidation after this strong trading within this very steady channel. The next one, ASML. Okay, ASML, I think after the earnings gap down, it was trending downwards. On Friday, retesting actually a previous resistance level. So this is over here. Remember the April resistance level 685. So actually retested it. So we might see some temporary bounce over here, but we might still find some resistance because it's trending downward from the short-term movement. That's currently around 710. Then horizontal level wise, 720, 720 about there could be some resistance. So maybe some sideways consolidation if this 685 level can hold. Next support level downwards it will be around 655 around there days. I think the next one Marvel, I think Marvel looks like a bit uh some weakness after closing all these gaps. So actually previously there was this $85 gap. But I think yeah. Then actually I think close out the gap, then you'll see some quite strong bit of a strong selling momentum coming. Then it failed to hold. Okay, on Friday there was gap down below this 79 level over here. So we just go a bit lower. I think probably if it does hit like 69 to about 72 this area again, where this was a bit of a consolidation sideways support from the consolidating sideways, then we're likely to see a bit of a bounce again. Then short-term resistance for now probably above 79. Yeah, so I think we're maybe moving a bit sideways first. Yeah. Next one, Micron. Yeah, Micron, I think after okay, still pulling back right now, I think. Yeah, so since the highs is still pulling back uh, around 110, previous recent there was a bit of a bounce, but failed to hold Thursday, Friday, still continue lower low. So I think next level for now actually a bit of a retest on over here, 103. So we might see some bounce, but maybe continue on the lower high trends are somewhere closer to the if it does retest the short term movie, just like 109. I think there might be some resistance over here. 109, 110. Next support level, if it continues this pullback, I think next support to look at will be 98.50, which was this consolidation resistance previously. Yep. So currently, I think my Micron still looks like it's pulling back. No signs of any reversal yet. By next one, Broadcom. I think Broadcom is still very strong. Like see, still uptrend and generally holding support around 20 MA this yellow line level. Pullback over here, but the strong support is something called the 280, which was this. There's a horizontal level as well as this upward support line over here. So probably I think we in the short term wise we might see some sideways take place. With short term resistance maybe at 295 onwards to maybe like 303. Yeah, so maybe some sideways over here is in between the support and resistance. Next one is Intel after earnings came down and continue to trend downwards a bit lower. So I think it could be back to this uh whole range kind of uh area lah. So previously I think whenever it hits around 17 plus to $19, tend to find some bounces along the way. So I think this will be the same old support zone again. And then resistance might come from the short-term 5 MA level or over here maybe around $20, which is also a psychological level as well. So yeah, that's it for the semicons. Most in terms of the looking at the index wise, also maybe a bit sideways for now. Yeah, turning a bit sideways. Then last but not least, I'll talk about some the EV names. Okay, I see. Hi, thanks, Xingzhen. I think you also talk. You have some question on like automotives. I will also cover it as well. So, first one, Tesla. I think my view is that it could be trading within this wedge itself. So we see lower highs as well as higher lows going up. Then yeah, over here currently there's some a bit of a pre-market gap. But over here looks like it's still holding some support around 306. I would expect some resistance from this maybe 10 MA level where it's been finding some resistance recently, I think last week. also some horizontal breakdown. I think somewhere closer to 315 to 320 area might be the short-term resistance. They might just consolidating sideways if this trend line support still holding. In terms of horizontal support, looks like a bit of a double bottom. This gap down, it tested like 300, and Friday it tested this level again, so still holding. So 300 is still holding as the psychological level. Then we might see some sideways over here. Yeah, unless 300 give way, then the next level support level will be like closer to 290, 290, and then the next one is around like somewhere closer to 273. Yeah, so for now, maybe Tesla's a bit sideways. Next one, Xpeng, nothing much, just still generally, I think sideways from like 17.50 to $19. New a bit still quite strong. I think it's just after this strong run there was a bit of pullback, then moving a bit sideways. So good thing is that this previous still holding previous swing high resistance as a bit of support at 4.45, and we might see some sideways consolidation between this 4.4 to maybe 5.2 area. 5.3, there's 5.3 plus there's some resistance over here previously. So maybe some sideways consolidation here first. Okay, then next one, Rivian. Okay, so for Rivian, I think for now also looks a bit sideways. So there was a bit of bounce at this horizontal level around 12. Then resistance was like above 14, then moving back down again. So we might see some sideways kind of direction. Yeah, so then some of the other automotive players, this one active. Okay, for now I think it's nothing much. It looks like a bit of a range taking place right now. So this previous resistance area like 65 is still holding as support. I think it's very important that it must hold as support. If not, we might see some lower levels, like the next support will be around like somewhere closer to 62. Yeah, for now nothing much, still just a bit sideways for now. Then resistance is from like around 69 to 72 area lah. So yeah, I think still pretty much sideways. Um, the next one, BYD. BYD, I think it's still overall, I think it's still in the range, but I think there's still some weak momentum since the breakdown of this 137 over here when price um couldn't hold the retest and rebounds, it turned to be some resistance. Afterwards, we've been seeing lower highs as well as lower lows on form. So I think for now, if it does have a bounce, this area around 120, 125 could be a bit of a resistance over here. Yeah. So there's still a bit of weakness with the low high, lower lows. Then strong support is around like 100, somewhere around close to 105 to 110 about there. Yeah, then for Xiaomi, I think a bit of a weakness starting to take place where uh price was tried it there was a since the opening above this 58.70 double top previously, price couldn't hold the momentum. It just consolidated sideways afterwards. Then the support 56.40, then now it's back to retest this previous levels 53.30. So there might be some bounce over here from previous resistance, but we expect continue a bit of lower high in the short term with the recent breakdown of 56.40. Yeah, so we might see some resistance over here this area, then might continue a bit of a weakness. Next support level will be like somewhere 50 or 80 about there. Okay, I'll move on to some of the questions that you all have. Yeah, sorry for saying so much about the other counters. Okay, hi BY, your counters are Celsius, Pfizer, and Okay, first up, Celsius. I think Celsius moving sideways. So I think it's still okay, trending okay. Uh, for hit for the around 49. Now above that, the next resistance is around 52.20. So I think for now, a bit sideways. But then I'll still expect support at this zone of like 42.40 to 44. Yeah. Unless there's a break below like 42, then there might be some signs that there might be some further pullback. But for now, it looks still pretty sideways. Next one, Pfizer. Yeah, Pfizer, I think there's generally some weakness since there was a breakdown of since there was a breakdown, it couldn't hold this level at 24.70. Also there's this upper support line that is being broken as a breakdown, we test into resistance and see a low this stretch lower high, lower low. So currently testing this 23.30, there might be some bounce over here, but I think in the short term wise could still form a lower low. Maybe somewhere around like 24 about there. Then for next one is So after the earnings, there was a gap down. The retrace back to this level over here, 135. Yeah, so then we might see looks like there could be some small bounce over here. Yeah, with the retest of this prior resistance. But I think short-term resistance might come from like 147 to 140, 150 area. This area where this was like a previous dip. Then the opening gap down actually went below this dip. So I think this might be a short-term resistance over here. Yeah, so we might see some bounce, maybe some resistance over here. Then if it fails to hold 135, then it might continue a bit of a weakness towards the next key support will be around 124. So this we can see multiple tests of this level previously. Okay, hi, Sandy, I see your question. Every Monday is sharing US stock. Yeah, so mainly I'll talk about some of the US sectors and stocks first. But if you have any question on Singapore, Hong Kong stocks, you can share as well, or any other country. I'll try my best to give analysis as best I can. Yeah. Next question is on SHLD. Okay, for SHLD, I think it's still still quite a strong uptrend over here. Just looks like a bit turning a bit sideways recently, but it's still holding the key breakout level at this 59.70 lah. This was recent and currently still holding as support. So I think it's just sideways between this level to the recent high close to 62.40. Might just do a bit of sideways consolidation. Yeah, still uptrend, maybe sideways. As long as it doesn't break below like this 59.70, then it's still okay. Next one is Motorola Solutions. For Motorola, I think still very range bound, but looking slightly better recently. So previously there was this range like 400s to then the key resistance like 427, but recently there was a break above that. So if you can hold stay above that, I think that will be more bullish sign. Then the key reasons now is still facing is 439, 440, where there's multiple retests. So over here, if we do see like a build up, a higher low build up over here, then if it afterwards try to break above 440 again, then I think we might see some bounce higher to test. The next level is around like uh somewhere closer to 449, 450. Yeah. And the next question is on ETHA, which is the iShares Ethereum Trust. So for the Ethereum Trust, there was strong momentum. Afterwards, we can see price action move sideways. Then it was a bit of, there was some reasons around 29, 20, and price actually breaking the 5-10 MA levels. So in short term wise, maybe I think we could see some sideways consolidation, a bit of a pullback after this strong rally. Then I think support could still hold 25, 20 this level. 25, yeah, 25, 20 around there. So maybe if it would turn into a bit of a uh, sideways kind of price action with resistance like probably above 28. I think there's resistance in the short term. Okay, next question is I see EVS. It's a ETF. Okay, I think there's some multiple ETF. I think not sure if this one or there's this one. Maybe you can spell out the full thing. Then I think it can help me to see which one. Yeah, I can type in the Q&A or chat again. I'll talk about some other question first. Next one is Mara. Mara Holdings. Okay, so for Mara, I think some weakness lah because over here price there was some you can see steady price was going up steadily after break 16.7, but over here then turn into sideways. But the sideways over here didn't hold this 1880 level. This support is also the short-term moving averages support. And then the open with a gap down, and then we see the momentum change downwards over here. And also a few tests of this 1660 recently. Then afterwards, Thursday, Friday went under. So I think we could see maybe some further pullback back to this old support area again, like 1450 around there. Then we might see a bit of a bounce again. And given that momentum is currently a bit weaker with the breakdown of some of the key levels recently. Okay, thanks for clarifying. It's a Nico AMMSCI. Okay. For this, I think first thing is like it's quite low volume. Then looks like it's pulling back from the resistance area like close around um 51 closer to 51 to 52 cent area over here. So a bit of a pullback. But I will expect looks like some support might come in closer to 47 cents to this uh around 47 cents. There's some support which was this range consolidation before it moved upwards. So just some pullback recently over here. Generally very range bound kind. So the low end like 42 cents, then the midpoint is around 46 cents, 47 cents about it. Then the high end is about 52. So I think that's a very big range probably. Then pulling back now from the 52 cent area. The next question is on the GSD which is the gold Sing dollar. Yeah, for gold Sing dollar, I think moving sideways recently. So previously it was generally in this channel and now turning into a bit sideways. So 387 to resistance mainly around four uh around 403 to 407. So I think just moving sideways for now, nothing much. Yeah. And next one, AT&T. AT&T, I think generally still keeping within the general range itself. The key resistance still holding around 2840. After after the earnings, you want to gap down, but testing this support areas 26, finding support back resistance, then pull back again. So I think in the short term wise, looks like there might be some sideways consolidation. For now, like price is holding at this higher support level, close somewhere closer to 27 this area. So maybe some sideways, unless 27 keep way, then we might see back to like 26, 60 or 26 again. So generally still very sideways kind of content. And for IBIT, okay, for IBIT, I think looks previously broke out of this cup and handle formation, then price was moving sideways, moving sideways, then breakdown of this around 66 support, around 66 support. So I think over here we might see a retest of the previous reasons over here. This that's around 62.80 to 63.70 area. So previously there was quite a strong resistance at this area. Then now if we do see a retest over here, I think we'll probably see a bit of bounce. But short term wise, expect some resistance from this recent breakdown around close to 66. Then maybe do a bit of a sideways consolidation thereafter. Okay, next one, there's a question on Grab. Yeah, so for Grab, I think generally, I think there was a bit, it tried to break above this downwards resistance line. That's around 520. Then that's prior to the earnings. After earnings, there was a gap down below that. So it's back under the trend line. The short term wise, I think is first thing is that is tested this 4.8 level. So this is horizontal level, resistance and support. So now over here we might see some slight bounce over here, but I will expect resistance like somewhere to $5, where it's a psychological level, and $5 to 5.15 should be the short term resistance area. Yeah, then afterward, if 480 gives way, then the next support level that it could go to is like somewhere closer to 4.5 over here. So I think in the short term wise, could see a bit of a sideways or downwards. I think short term, yeah, since there was a gap down from the highs after it tried to break on this downwards resistance line and lines. There's generally resistance from 5.2 to 5.5 area over here. Then zooming out is just a very big range for Grab. Okay, next one, there's a question on app loving. Okay, for app loving, I think generally it has been very range bound. I think probably there's earnings coming out this recently a bit better because there was it broke this range at 358, then found support over there, then yeah, just continue to go make a bit of a higher highs and also higher lows as well. So uh yeah, so I see for now in terms of tends to find some support along the 10 MA as well. So we've seen that on Friday, 367. Over here, maybe a bit of a sideways. Then if we can try to break 398, next resistance level might be around like 402, 403. Yeah. So that's for app loving. Generally slowly inching upwards. Also quite range bound. Next question on surf robotics. So for surf robotics, I think generally I think kind of settled a bit of a range right now. So generally support is coming in like close to 9.6 to 10 this zone. Then we see mainly resistance is around like 11.4 to like 12.3 this area over here. So generally sideways, I think for now. Yeah. The next question is Adobe. Adobe, I think the price action is continue on to be quite weak because there's from what it looks, it tends to do like a bit of a range. Afterwards, it makes a breakdown and form a bit of lower low and continue to form lower high as well. So yeah, I've seen a few breakdowns like 375, 362 recently. So the next level, I think you could go towards is maybe like somewhere 333 to 343 this area. This was the lowest in April this year lah. So over here, I think if it does test, we should see some bounce again, do a bit of a bounce. Yeah, but generally it's been trending downwards. And for essential, yeah, also we saw a breakdown. This 274 level, multiple tests and then lower high bounces on the way up and breakdown. So I think most likely testing the next support level. That's around like maybe 253. So it was a horizontal level, I think 2022 to 2023. Then I'll try to draw the next level somewhere maybe closer to 240, like 244 around there. That could be the next support. Yeah, for essential. Yeah, so I think that's still looking a bit weak for now with the multiple retests of support with lower highs, and there was a breakdown recently. The next one, Eli Lilly, I think generally it's been quite range, a bit of a range down, I guess. Uh, over here is like support is around 760. Yeah, then resistance when it ever goes to if it ever goes to above like 800, there's likely to be some resistance. So generally quite range bound. I think that's one thing this week as well. So I will expect some resistance for now. If it with bit of a breakdown, resistance for now maybe like 780, where there's some MAs over there as well. Yeah, so we might just move a bit sideways again. Then below that, the next support level will be somewhere closer to 720 about there. The next question is on Salesforce. Yeah, so for Salesforce, I think because of the price action, not very good on Friday. So previously it's been a bit trending downwards, then turned to sideways. Sideways 257 was like support, then 257 to 275. Then Friday looks like there was a bit of breakdown. Yeah, I would think maybe if it could be still a bit of a downside. So maybe test some of the lowest support levels. Yeah, so maybe the next level we could test is like 243. I think that's the level. Also, there's a gap over here. Then afterwards, below that is the next key level, somewhere like 232 about there. Yeah, so some weakness for now. The next one, there's a question of Coinbase micro strategy. Coinbase, I think since it retested the IPO high like for around 430, that's been pulling back. Then after earnings, there's also it also go went down. So after earnings, it would open below this support level like 340. And I would think we could see some we could see some we could see some the price actually retest the next support level, three around close to 300. So 300 previously, I think start of this year, January, this was resistance. Then there was a two there was some slight consolidation before price going to move higher. So I think 300 is also a psychological level. I think there might be some bounce over here. Yeah, since it went down from 444 all the way down now. So there might be some slight bounce at this support level plus psychological level, but resistance in the short term, I think would be probably 340s, above 340, I think. Yeah. Then for MSDR micro strategy, yeah, for micro strategy, actually, it's been showing some weakness since it failed to hold this level like 420. So basically, it was trending upwards. And 420, there was some sideways over here, but afterwards couldn't hold. And the breakdowns also broke down after earnings, I think broke below this 393 level. So I think should be maybe a bit similar to Coinbase. It might test some of the lower support level. This one 360. 360 previously, this was a range support. So it might test this level, then do some bounce over here. But I would expect resistance in near term like above 390s. So a bit of some weakness for gold right now. Okay, next question is on Align technology. Okay, so I think this not much for it. I'll try to draw some important areas for this. Okay, so for this after earnings, there was quite a big gap down. Then for now, I think it's quite tested at support level like close to 128 previously. So over here we're seeing a bit of a bounce on Friday. And short term wise, we could just maybe see some slight consolidation. Yeah, some slight consolidation with resistance maybe around 144, 145 at this level. Yeah. And then below 128, the next key supporting is close to 115 about there. It's on Xerox operation. Yeah, for Xerox, I think generally it's a downtrend. Then recently is yeah, over here price didn't hold this 590 breakout level. Then after that, there was some selling breaking low that support like $5 as well. So probably uh, I think we might see a test of the lows again. Close to 350 again over here. Then maybe a bit of a slight bounce. Also generally because it's in a bit of a downtrend as well. Now the next one for prime energy. Quite low volume as well, but yeah, for yeah, since it formed we have a triple top like around 237, then we see some weakness along the way, lower high, lower lows. Then this part try to form ranges and climb up. But on Friday it broke now. We see this 165 test after testing two times there was a break, open gap down and break below that. So probably we might see a test of this 153 getting this level again, then some bounce again. Then resistance is like 165 or then short term. Okay, hi Sharon, your question is on two support and resistance for Dell, Micron, and ASML. Okay, for Dell, I think support wise, first level of support is like this area, lah. This area 121 to 125 around here. The next level is the previous range, so like 115. So then resistance for now is like probably 131. Then also around next one higher is like 136. Yeah. Micron, okay, Micron, for now support it, which is tested on Friday like 104. Then the next one is around 98, around there. Then resistance for now closer to 110 as well as 110 and then somewhere closer to 114 for Micron. Then for ASML, for now, support is tested on 685, this level, previous recent. Then next one lower is around 655 around there. Then resistance wise, I think for now, something closer to 720 and 750. Okay, next question, there's question on TLT. Yeah, for TLT, I think generally it's a bit of a range taking place. So uh, there's for now there's some reason like 88 to 89 this area previously. So I think uh, there could be some temporary reasons. Like, it's generally quite a range. Like, whenever it goes down to like 84, 84, 85, then it tends to do a bit of rebound. Then over here 88, 89, there's some potential reasons. So I think they might see some sideways price action. I think for this, if you look at the 20 plus year bond yield, also quite sideways. Then for the bond yield wise, I think for the 20 year 4.74 around there is a bit of a support. So if the bond yield reach there and rebound, then we might see some pullback for TLT. So generally still quite a range for the bond. Okay, then there's a very popular counter, United Health. Yeah, so for United Health, generally, yeah, still continue the bearish trend. Then since it failed to hold since it failed to hold this consolidation area when previously there was a very long period of sideways, like June, especially in June. Then yeah, couldn't hold the 290 support. Then after earnings kept down and also actually tested this swing low 248, but I think generally it's still trending lower. So I would think I think still side with the trend until for now because it's generally still quite weak in terms of daily. Then weekly you see weekly is also finding some resistance along 510 mm, then continue to trend a bit lower. So I feel that it might slowly go to the next support. The very strong support, I think, in my opinion, if I were to guess, maybe somewhere closer to like 190 to 200 this area. Because in the weekly previously, I think like 20, this was during 2018 to 2020, this was a very strong support area that lasted a few years. And then also something that day I was just curious lah. Then I just pull out the long term monthly 200 MA, right? So this, I think if it does reaches this level, currently it's around 210 lah. If it does reaches this level, which is actually quite confirming the horizontal level as well, then that might be possibly a support level that could hold the price. I think previously, the last time we tested this monthly 200 MA was back in 2008. So over here, there was quite a big drawdown as well. Then afterwards, they did recover lah. So I think this might be a support to look out for if it does reaches there, in my opinion. Yeah, but for now, it's still quite weak lah, unless you can see price start to trend above all the short-term moving averages, which I think quite unlikely for now. Next one is Novo Nordisk, also another counter showing weakness right now. So for Novo, generally still continue on the downtrend. Yeah, below 56. Following this gap down, then price just a bit sideways right now. So I think right now would be to look at some of the previous levels. So previously, back in 2021, 2022, I think there was a range period. So the strong support would be somewhere closer to 40, around 47 this area. Currently price around quite closer. So I think we might see some bounce around this area, like 40, we see like 46, 47 in general. And so I think we might see some bounce, but in terms of the resistance wise, I think for now maybe it's from around 50 onwards, I think. Yeah, I'll try to answer uh some of the other questions. Okay, I think there's a question. I think in the case of Amazon stock on long position sell off recently, is it better to sell first than wait for reversal uptrend, or should we hold on and add more when reversal back up? Is it better to sell first or wait for reversal uptrend? I think it really depends on your trading strategy. If whether you're the kind of person that prefers to buy the dip, or you're the kind that prefers to actually wait for the breakout confirmation kind. So I think for now, if you are like say buying the dip kind, if it reaches if it reaches like 207, probably can start to look again around there. There's around, I think, close to 200 MA. There's some long-term moving averages around there as well. But for now, I think then yeah, then for now, I think to reverse back up a bit hard for now, because previously it was trending very steadily. Then for now, there's a big gap down. So probably the short-term movement, most likely short-term movement averages will be quite dragged down for now first. Then for all the confirmation indicators to actually be smoothened out and trend up again, I think it will take quite some time. So for now, probably I think the strategy, I think, to look for a bit of a dip start. If there's, let's say, rapid drops, yeah, then can look at some of the levels, like for example the longer term trend line over here. That could be one very strong support if it does hit. Then I think some of the 26, 27, yeah, there's also a longer term support. Then wait for some bounce upwards, then maybe can look to sell if you want to. Yeah, sorry, it's about 9:15. I think there's quite a lot of questions still. I couldn't have the time to answer. I'm sorry for that. But feel free to post them inside the Poems Tree community group. So we have this there's this TA community group inside the Poems Tree app. And you can feel free to post any questions you have inside. Yeah, so apologies for I can't answer all your questions in view of time. I'll just stop sharing my screen right now. Yeah, just give me a moment. Okay, I'll share the survey form as well as the link to join the poetry group if you are new or you haven't if you haven't joined. Yeah. Yeah, I dropped that in the chat. Okay, I see a question on Jess. Can share about SimCorp earnings. Okay, so these are I don't cover the fundamental for SimCorp. My boss Paul does lah. So I think if you have any question, you can actually ask him. There's a for my research team. There's a Monday webinar at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every morning. So you can ask over there if you are free, or if you're not free, then you can email the research team. I'll drop the research team email in the chat. Yeah, psr@phillip.com.sg. Then you just direct the question to Paul. Then I think he will answer. Yeah. So thanks for everyone for today. For all your questions. If you have any feedback about today, you can feel free to fill in the survey form, or if you think the session is good, you can feel free to leave a feedback as well. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new or you haven't joined, feel free to join the Korean Street community on TA if you haven't. You can download using the link over there. Then you can drop any questions you have. Yeah, then also there's a Poems TA Telegram group. The handle is at Poems TA, so feel free to join as well. Over there, any TA content I'll post over there as well. So yeah, thanks for all your questions. Sorry, I'm unable to answer all of them in view of time. I hope to answer more questions in the next session. Yeah, so with that, I hope all of you have a good trading week ahead. I think we reached the month of August, and August, in terms of seasonality wise, when you look at the post-election year, tends to see a bit of a pullback, a bit of a weakness pullback. I think after we've seen a few months of strong months like May, June, July, indices were all trending very up steadily. I think we might see we might possibly see some pullback in August. So I think better to be a bit cautious and also just watch out for the price action closely and also all the news that's coming up. So yeah, thanks for all your questions and attending today. I hope to see you all in the next session. Have a good night and good trading week ahead. Bye bye.